So please get your donations in if you would like a chance to win some of the absolutely amazing prizes. Looks like we are all set to go, so we are going to throw things over to Cyclone with Monster World 4. Please give it up for Cyclone.
Hi, I'm Cyclone. I'm here in Monster World 4. It is a game part of the Monster Boy series. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Countdown from 3. 3, 2, 1, go. So, like I said, I'm Cyclone. Behind me, I'm going to let my couch introduce themselves.
I'm Tinahacks.
And I'm AuthorBlues.
So, plot of this game is very simple. Asha's growing up wanting to be a warrior, and today is the day she sets off, and that's basically the plot.
Her dad gave her a sword, as responsible adults do.
So the movement in this game is the Sega Mega Drive game, so there's a D-pad and 3 buttons. As far as running is concerned, it's run to double tap to run, which tends to be a pain in the butt. And then other than that, B to attack, which, hey, I got a sword boost there.
Oh, nice. So one of the things that's important to know about this game is that anytime that you're not running, you move at walk speed. So if you jump, if you fall, which you see right there, all of the routing in terms of the movement of this game is all about making sure that you're running on the ground as much as possible. And there are 2 exceptions to that. One of them we're seeing right now. These sword boosts are a frame-perfect trick. This runs at 60 frames per second, so every time that you see Asha keeping that momentum through falling down, Cyclone is pulling off a 1/60th of a second attack to keep that speed throughout that animation.
I've hit more than I expected to so far, but it's very hard to do. Probably not going to do so many through here. It actually doesn't save time unless you're going down 3 tiles. Just the animation at the end of it, you're locking it for so long, it's not worth it. Try for that one, because if you happen to do that one late, you end up just bouncing off of that particular slime and you don't waste any time.
So the category is any percent specifically with Magic Merchant. So what Cyclone has to do in order to get the Magic Merchant, which happens about 7 minutes into the run, he's not going to be able to save. So there's no safety there. He's not going to be able to use a heart vending machine to restore his health, which is exactly what it sounds like. So this early part of the run is probably the most stressful, especially in a no reset situation.
This next screen is pretty tight, so...
Cool. Perfect.
Whoops. Sorry. Let's take this slow. Yep, a lot of the monsters can be manipulated based on your screen position at the time that you approach them, when they are ready to act. And I just messed it up there by doing a large bounce off of the second slime as opposed to a short bounce. So huge tower out of nowhere. So that guy I just passed back there is actually the save point for this game. But saving takes quite some time, and there's enough safety after I get out of this dungeon that it's not worth it.
Yep, and as mentioned, if you talk to that save guy, even if you don't save, the Magic Merchant, which we'll be seeing in just a few minutes, just doesn't appear. So, pretty important.
Unfortunately, that's the only time in the run I have time to play musical shields.
So one thing that's definitely become obvious by now, Cyclone's playing this in Japanese. In addition to Japanese just having shorter text, In the official English translation, the text was slowed down to like a quarter speed, which makes it untenable for speedrunning.
Yeah, there's a conversation coming up that I timed, and it's like, it actually is 25% slower just to play in English.
So here we go into each of these rooms to spawn one of these platforms, and then we will be continuing to climb the comically large tower.
Another screen tradition right here, it maintains your momentum and height as you go through, so I had to wait on that platform before jumping up. For whatever reason, there's a platform later on that's not the case. It's very strange. And you can see me bouncing off of the enemies. Some of the enemies in this game actually don't have where they hurt you when you make contact with them, so you can do stuff like that. Alright, so killing each one of those makes a platform right here, and you have to kill all four of them. You can't make the jump otherwise. Cool.
Okay, that bounced. So that's a very, very tight manipulation. He only had 2 shots at it. And that skips about a minute's worth of wandering throughout the dungeon.
Yeah, you have to kill him, and then go out, kill another one, and then go do a whole loop.
Yeah, that was meant to be the exit of a section.
All right, so coming up here, we're going to see another one of those bounces just to skip a little bit of platforming. Perfect.
And that's a screen situation where it doesn't maintain your height for whatever reason, not inconsistencies.
All right, so we're coming up on the boss. This is the boss of, obviously, this tutorial dungeon. What you're going to see Cyclone do is he's going to be up-stabbing. Asha can both up and down stab in this game. And what you can expect to see is that he's going to stun lock the boss. He's got roughly a 2-frame window for each jump to perfectly stun lock the boss. As long as he doesn't go early and he keeps his rhythm, it's going to go perfect.
Hard boss. So here we have the genie of the lamp.
He loves his job.
He does not. So he gives you a ride over to Rabadanga City. That's where we're going to next. So our mission right now is we're going to go talk to the queen. She's going to give us the title of warrior. But before I do that, I need to go to the magic merchant.
So we're going to go to the backyard of the castle instead of talking to the queen after we are told that we need to talk to the queen by these guards.
So
And there's
here he
the
is.
magic merchant.
So he gives you money, 9,999 every time you talk to him, and he sells you the best weapon, the best shield, and a modified version of the best armor in the game. And the modified version of the best armor in the game is what is going to allow a lot of the tricks later on.
So the best armor obviously gives you full health, which is great, or maximum health potential. On top of that, it gives you the ability to set the level of a helper that we're about to get arbitrarily, which lets us, for one, skip roughly 60 seconds between dungeons, which is great. But on top of that, it gives us access to a couple of real neat glitches that we'll be showing off pretty close to the end of the run.
So this is the conversation I was talking about I timed. It's, in Japanese, it's about 25 seconds. In English, it's 34. Just to give you an idea of how much slower English is.
Would this be a good time for some donations?
Sure.
All right. We have $5 from Synchronity. After 10,000 years, my dude Cyclone is free. It's time to conquer Monster World 4. Doing us misfits proud.
Thanks, Mike.
Loke donates $50. Hey, Cyclone. I'm so excited to finally watch you run Monster World at AGDQ. It's been a long time coming. Good luck on the run, especially the ice pyramids. Much love from the Madison/VT crew.
Thanks, man. So the first chest I grabbed there has healing medicine in it, and that's not something I normally grab, but for the marathon, I'm doing it for safety, because if I die, the run is over. I'm not saving, it will take me back to the title screen. So we don't want that to happen. Yeah, so when we accepted the title of warrior, she gave us full access to the treasury, which is great. We picked up the healing medicine, the earth medallion, and the Papelagoo egg, which we are going right over here to hatch. And there he is.
It's the cutest double jump in games.
Oh, wait, I made full heal. Normally I skip this because this is a long time for a heal.
All right, so Papelagoo is a few things. You do get to be able to double jump with him, which, thanks to interesting oversight in the programming, we will be abusing to allow us to infinite jump pretty soon. On top of that, throughout the dungeons, he's going to help us solve a bunch of puzzles. He's fireproof, which is nice. He's iceproof, which is nice. He can blow out fires. Some.
Yeah, some.
I thought he hated fire.
About a month ago, a new game came out called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. It's actually a sequel to this, and Papelagoo shows up in that, and there's an entire section of the game where you have to help him get through a fire section, which makes no sense after you play this game.
Do you think maybe he's afraid of fire because of what he's going to go through in this volcano?
Quite possible.
I'm not sure that was the lore, but it's now the only one I will accept.
So here you can really start to see both the value of the double jump and the value of keeping Asha on the ground so that you can keep your speed running.
Right there, I did a upstab in the air. When you do that, it cancels the downtime for calling Papelagoo, so that I can do another jump rather quickly compared to not doing that. And that is actually the basis behind an infinite jump that I'm about to show off in a couple of rooms.
So all of these little Magatama-looking collectibles, when you collect enough of them, you get an extra heart. So Cyclone will be collecting none of them.
I'll try not to, somewhere in the way. So each of the main dungeons in this game have some sort of small gimmick attached to them. This one already showed us what it was. Whoops. There are bombs laid throughout, and there are doors blocked by boulders. You have to find the bombs above the boulders. So with the best, so I got the best sword in the game. It does 8 damage. Normally you would have one that does 2 here, but most of the strats that whoops, that was too far to the right. And this is an infinite jump.
So to call this trick tight in terms of the timing is an understatement. Anytime that you see Cyclone nail one of these, he's working real hard for it.
Yep. So as I mentioned before, it's a Mega Drive game, 3 buttons. You have to hold A to call Papelagoo. You have to then jump with the C button and then do an upstab with the B button. So you have to make heavy use of all 3 buttons to do it.
Couple more donations, okay?
Sure.
All right. Lenalia donates $30. Thank you so much for running this criminally underappreciated game. Good luck, Cyclone.
Thank you.
Michael Steffs donates $10. Just had to donate during Monster World 4, a game I first played and beat while in the audience at SGDQ last year. This game was so fun and charming, I considered getting into speedrunning it myself. Thanks for bringing attention to such an amazing classic Sega Genesis game.
Yep. So as I demonstrated, Pavelgu can be used to push buttons from a distance. And there's some puzzles that require that to happen. Asha can also hit the buttons herself, but I think there's only like 1 or 2 that I actually do that. You have time for a couple more donations.
All right. Lucas donates $13.37. Good luck, Cyclone. Monster World 4 is an amazing run. I'm glad you get to show it to the world. Rogue Link donates $50. Rogue Link here. Good morning from the West Coast. Good luck on the run, Cyclone, and shoutouts to Tina and Auth on the couch. Looking forward to the great run and commentary. Brad54 donates $50. Excited to see Monster World 4 at AGDQ. Shoutouts to Cyclone, Papalagoo hype!
All right, so we have the first mini-boss here. The Harpy will charge at you when you're at a specific height when standing on a platform, and that's how quick it goes.
So one thing to point out, it's easy to think that, well, since we have the best sword in the game, that all of the fights are made substantially easier. Most of the strats are actually the exact same, whether we have the top-level sword or what we would normally have in the game. This is, however, substantially faster.
Yep. Yeah, I could do the same exact thing with the 2 damage sword I was mentioning before. It does have to be on a platform farther to the right, and you bounce off them 10 times. All right, so notice Pavelgu is propelling us up using the whoops, messed up all those inputs from the geysers. So yeah, he can handle the heat just fine. You can also hold him over your head, and he'll stop any fire from falling from the ceiling. And I also used him as a platform on top of lava earlier, so he can handle heat just fine.
This does all seem traumatizing, though.
Yes.
Nice. So that sword boost sets you up with every single cycle in this room working out to your favor.
Yep. A lot of the traps in the rooms and a lot of the monsters in many of the rooms are based on when you enter the room. That room especially is really good to get that. Just a little gauntlet here of enemies. Oh yeah, and since I have the best weapon and armor in the game, I have no need for any of the money that's dropping. That money bag drop from those enemies are actually really, really good if you don't have it, if you're running the non-merchant category.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that room has way too much going on for it. Probably have time for a couple donations.
You got it. Konjak donates $25. Monster World 4 was a big influence on me as a game developer. Nice to see it ran. Good luck.
Thank you.
Grimbald donates $20. As someone whose family was affected by cancer regularly over the years, I truly appreciate your efforts. Keep on keeping on. Gotta go fast.
Not a fan of that ghost.
G. Chris donates $50. So excited to see some Genesis games demolished this morning. RoboJust donates $25. Great to see you running Monster World 4, even if I appear to have started watching it without it being an ice dungeon. Keep up the great run. Numbers 37 donates $25. Monster World hype. Also, hi Tina.
Yeah, that last room, there's a switch over on the left side that makes a moving platform that moves up and down. You saw me miss that jump going up there. I don't know why they decided to put that there because you can literally just jump over it.
So here's another one of those rooms with a lot of global cycles going on.
Oh yeah, I have a shield. It's really good. There we go.
All right, so spending that extra time there sets Cyclone up to get that jump.
Okay.
And all of the movement from here up to the boss is extremely specific.
Pelican's trying to mess me up. It can be very hard to get Papeligu to work with you. If his trajectory's off, he'll just start circling around you, and just really hard to deal with.
Conversing with signs.
Yes, I'm just having a lovely chat with these three signs here.
All right, so this is the one boss in the game that goes real quick.
I don't know how hard it is to get that spot in that corner like that, but it helps a lot.
And that fight's way harder without that sword.
It's pretty much the same. It's just I have to, the first cycle takes 3 jumps, and the second one actually looks exactly the same. He never hits you. All right, so now we're gonna use the shield, the armor I have to make Papeligu level 2. Normally you have to go to the left of the palace. There's a tree with fruit on it, and you feed it, and he grows. But we just use the armor, and he goes up. Now over here is also the wizard tower, where all the obviously evil wizards are residing. That's it right there.
They're not evil. They're bringing in all of these Papeligus, the yellow ones, to sell to people.
Yeah, obviously evil. So that's where you get the medallions to go to each of the areas. Normally you'd have to go through there to get the medallion to get to this area, but for whatever reason, over that wall I just jumped over, it just warps you right here. My theory is that they intended you to actually just walk out from town to all 4 of the locations, because 2 of them do lead left and 2 of them do lead right. So that would suggest that the front of the town would lead the 2 and the back of the town would lead the 2.
Yeah, this is the only active warps that exists like that, though. The other 3, if they existed, have been taken out.
Well, the back of the right side doesn't exist because there isn't a back of the right side. But the left side, you can jump over and you'll just run until your position is set to whatever, and it screen wraps you and you transition right. Alright, so running through here. So you're supposed to run all the way to the end, and it'll be like, hey, look at the water. And there's the entrance to the dungeon.
So this is a water dungeon. The big gimmick here is that Asha is really bad at swimming, and also Papeligu is super, super good at blowing out fires, and Asha's not.
And there's a bucket.
Also a bucket.
Doing pretty good on the sword today.
Yeah, you're doing really well with those.
The jelly snipers. Jelly sniper, no! They're really good at their job. So infinite jumping gets a little bit easier the bigger Papeligu is. It just has to deal with his size, with this hitbox or whatever. right, so remember that spot. I'm gonna be coming back here. And hopefully nothing bad will happen.
So to let you all know what's coming up, we're going to be, or Cyclone's going to be attempting a trick called bucket skip, where we're going to not skip the bucket, we're going to pick it up, but we are going to skip doing an entire loop around everything that you're seeing right now.
Yeah, if I fail, you'll see all of this I'm doing again. And it is actually the intended way for this dungeon to go.
Yeah, this dungeon is fairly circuitous.
There's a heart vending machine. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You put in money, you get hearts. Alright, so 2 more screens until bucket skip.
Okay, so what you're going to see, he's going to pick up the bucket, he's then going to call the Pepelugu, and then he's going to go through one of those pipes that kind of zips him. And then he's going to recall and begin infinite jumping. The trick is fairly difficult, and in a PB attempt, missing it is the end of the run.
He
nailed it.
He did not want to cooperate with me. He came from a very strange trajectory. And it is entirely possible that Pepelugu will just flat out miss you. And if you end up underneath the low ceiling, you cannot go back. All right, so all that work for the bucket, just to put this fire out. You can throw Pepelugu at it, and he'll try to blow it out himself, but he doesn't do a very good job at it. So we're going through a little bit here. We probably have enough time for some donations.
You got it. Skeggy donates $15. The music in this game is fantastic. Definitely interested to see the rest of the game. Put my money towards the cosplay incentive for Nier Automata. Love that game. Tori110 donates $50. So glad to see a Monster World game at GDQ. Loved the series since the Master System. Robert donates $5. Have fun, everyone. Noak donates $5. Hey, AGDQ, wanted to donate because this game has just one of the best soundtracks. Can we get some chat? Wiggle, wiggle.
So when these enemies decide to attack is actually based on a power cycle from Power On, if that's correct. Tina knows more than I do. So depending on how good I'm doing depends on when they're going to attack. And I kind of won't know until I get there.
So what is it that those things in the water do?
If you hit one of those, you get zapped and returned to the beginning of the room.
Yeah, so
We don't want that.
No. The goal, as I understand it, was to do the opposite, actually.
Okay.
So we have another mini boss coming up. He is a rainbow mohawk ostrich.
Yep, called Axe Beak, who doesn't attack you with his beak, but you know.
Does he attack you with an
Perfect
axe?
Nope.
Doesn't attack you at all.
He was about to lay an egg, but I didn't let him.
That hardly sounds like an attack.
So there's an entire right side of the dungeon right here that we can just ignore entirely. You go over there, you find a guy who's passed out, you find more water to put in your bucket, you throw it on him, and he then tells you to do that.
To be sure, He specifically says, "I'm very thirsty, please bring me some water," and you throw it on him.
Okay. Seems reasonable. Oops. Oh, I got pushed down because of the ceiling. I love getting sword boosts on water. You just go flying all the way across. Which hopefully I can do here. Nope. Again, it's a one-frame trick. It's really hard to do.
Yeah, the number of sword boosts that we've seen so far is really, really uncommonly high.
All right, so we have raft skip. There's a raft, and we don't touch it. And unlike a certain other raft skip in another game, it's really easy. Taking advantage of the upstab, resetting the call cycle. Just throw a bucket in, and the save stage does. I'm asking you, did you throw in a silver bucket? No. A gold bucket? No. The bucket of legend? No. Oh, well, since you can tell the truth, you get to be Sonic and go through this tunnel.
I would have taken the legendary bucket.
It seems pretty nice. That boss, that phase of that boss, that's literally all he does if you don't move out of that spot. That's the last easy boss of the run.
Yeah, the next two mini bosses and the next actual boss are really, really. They can be scary.
Capelagoo on the head.
So who did we rescue out of that chest?
That was one of the 4 spirits that have been captured. The 4 spirits actually are a cameo to Wonder Boy and Monster World. All the helpers you get in that game are the spirits in this game. So this chest was blocked by the wizard I just beat. We can infinite jump over Wizard Tower, which you're going to see me do twice later on. But even if you do it, the chest isn't there. Even if I do Stream Sanctuary, if I haven't done Volcano, it still isn't there. So you have to do the first 2 dungeons to get that chest.
Yep, so we've done the fire dungeon, we've done the water dungeon, so of course the next element that we have to go to is the ice dungeon.
Oh.
So we're going to use the armor again to grow Capelagoo. And then use the medallion. And now I get to deal with ice physics for the next, 17 minutes.
So, new movement. Every time that Cyclone starts moving, he's going to jump. And that's just because ice gives you super slow acceleration, and jumping gives you not super slow acceleration. And the other trick that you're going to see that you use to maintain speed is coming up a couple of pyramid sections from now. You're going to see Cyclone pull out his shield, and he's going to use that to maintain speed on some ice that you would have otherwise, if you tried to jump off of it, you would have slipped and fallen, and if...
Ice physics.
Yep. And if you just run across it normally, you end up dropping to walking speed. Worst enemies in the game.
That's really tight. It's okay, I have a lot of safety health, so everything's fine. Oh, I didn't pull out my notes. I'll be able to get them out, it's fine.
The notes were inside you all along.
So I mentioned gimmicks for each dungeon. The water dungeon was the bucket. This one has 5 statues spread throughout. You have to find all 5 of them and put them in a specific order in the room at the end. There are 3 ice pyramids that have this mechanic, and the order is different for all 3. Then each individual ice pyramid has their own gimmick, this one being the color-coded doors. where you have to do a button combination depending on which color it is. That one being the red door, you have to push buttons A, B, C, B in that order to get through.
Yep, so you're going to see a bunch of scrolls kind of embedded into the wall. Those are all the hints, because the game certainly isn't going to just tell you what order you're supposed to do anything in. Thankfully, it's not randomized, which means that Cyclone just gets to, memorize things and be on his merry way.
Don't like those 3 sticks.
Yeah, that room's really rough. That's still much better than it could have gone.
Good enough.
Perhaps just as much as this area is focused on the new ice mechanics, it's equally focused on like proper puzzles. A lot of the rest of the game does sort of expect you to solve dungeons and figure out how to maneuver your way around them, but this dungeon and this area in particular really does start ramping up the sorts of puzzles that they expect you to be able to solve. Like, for instance, Cyclone right now is collecting a bunch of statue pieces that are going to be used to solve some puzzles coming up.
I think those snakes are also on a global power cycle, because it seems like it's different every time I go through there.
Yeah, those are.
Tina's actually tasked this a little bit, so she knows which enemies are which. As for the door is ACAAC. There's another door. That was the black door, I think. There's a white door, and the opposite of that is CACCCA. I need my notes for the statues. Look at that in a second. Okay, I'm good. So I have all my notes written down, the order of where I need to go to my inventory to use the statues, and it's something I changed recently, that's why I need the notes. It used to be I have it written down which statue I needed to use, and then I'd have to look through my inventory to find it, and this is just way more efficient.
So one of the things that you just saw was Cyclone skip some hearts. Coming up, after all of the ice pyramids are done, Cyclone's actually going to want to be at quite low health for a cutscene that triggers as soon as you hit 1 heart. So there's a ton of little health management things that he's doing right now. So this is mini boss number 1. This is Oxhead.
It's probably the best I've ever done that fight, actually. There are still ice physics in the boss rooms as well, so it makes it really difficult. All right, so Ice Pyramid 2 has hidden doors. You can't see them. The only way to see them, and I will actually show this off, is you throw a propeller goo at it. I'm not even close enough. And you get this. Luckily, I just know where all the doors are, so I don't need to spend time doing that every single time. Hidden floor right there. If I fell down there before picking this chest up, we'd have a fun time on our hands. You can infinite jump through a screen transition. It is not easy to do.
Yeah, and if you don't get that statue, it's about a 4-minute trek to go through all of the hidden doors to get back up top.
right, so Papeligo can handle fire. He can handle ice. Nice, perfectly square ice cube.
Well, that's handy.
The shield is incredibly useful. I haven't been using it much, but it blocks pretty much any attack coming my way. And that's irrelevant of what shield I have. I skipped the shield at the Magic Merchant. What the shields, I don't want that. What the shields actually do is give you a chance of negating damage based on what element it is. And that shield the Magic Merchant was selling would just negate any attack, like 1 in every 3 hits or something like that. So Papeligo is so big now, you can't walk with him when he's on top of your head. He just kind of gets to rest there. I'm just going to be going through a bunch of hidden doors at this point. You can probably do some donations.
You got it. And I just gotta say, there is so much wiggling going on in the chat right now. It is fantastic.
Good.
So, Salted Slightly donates $10. Thanks for the hard work and good luck with the run, Cyclone. Shout out to my boy Lucas Aurelius. Royal Blue Wizard donates $20. Monster World 4 is a fantastic title, and I love seeing it at GDQ. Shoutouts to all of the wonderful runners and attendees, as well as staff and volunteers. Donation goes to Tina's Choice, if only as a salve after Sky and Auth's sick burns in Jackbox. Mr. Kata donates $25. Wonder Boy, one of my favorite sagas of all time. Great work every year, AGDQ. Thank you all from Spain. VT1315 donates $50. Go Cyclone and Monster World 4.
So here I'm going to do a completely unnecessary infinite jump. I missed it anyway, so we're going to take the elevator. It saves how much time?
If you do it optimally, it saves just under 30 frames.
Cool. I need to intentionally not sword boost off that one. You go sliding so fast into that second climb. So we're coming up on the statue room for this pyramid. I have all of them now. There's going to be Anubis blocking my way. That last Anubis in probably like 7 rooms ago at this point was so nice pointing me the way to the door. I'm just going to leave this one alive. And there are hints throughout, like Tina was saying, and the hints will be like the turtles to the left of the goddess. And there's like various amounts of those. But since the order never changes, I can just have it written down and I'm good to go. So I have to take Papeligo in the ice block all the way down to the bottom here. If you mess up, you can call him and he'll use his heat that he has stored up to break out. It's very easy to not do that properly. There's so many different ways down.
So here is Horse Face. This one's just a little bit easier than Oxhead with the ice mechanic. A little bit later, you're going to get to see just how, and actually, let's be quiet. Here we get a
Cool.
Okay, so what just happened was a quick pop quiz from the Sphinx. There's a pool of 20 questions, of course, all in Japanese, and you get 10 random ones. So, and there's our quick ice slide.
Yeah, and I don't read Japanese, so that's really hard. Also, you have 3 seconds to answer every question.
Yeah, it automatically fails you if you take more than 3 seconds for any of them.
Well.
Yeah, this Sphinx is a lot ruder than other Wonder Boy Sphinxes. mute it, okay. So the gimmick for this one is the ice floors that I'm shielding over, as well as buzzsaws for some reason. I don't know. Something.
You know.
So this room's kind of tight to do properly. So I'm gonna jump over the buzzsaw here. Need to start running, Asha, please. Okay, everything's wrong in this room now. I'm just gonna wait, because I'm actually pretty low on health.
So what happened there was because Asha didn't get that jump, Cyclone ended up off cycle, so all of these buzzsaws are in a just really awkward spot.
Yeah, I would have intentionally gotten damaged at the far left side of the buzzsaw above that one, and it would have just lined everything up perfectly. I feel like please.
But luckily, most of the rest of what he's going to have to deal with throughout this dungeon is based on a room timer, not global power on. So, not necessarily in the clear, but pretty much in the clear.
I have taken a lot more damage than I want to, but I do have the medicine, so even if I die, everything's fine.
Yeah, the one thing that we're going to see is there's an Anubis coming up who can drop either a single heart or a green herb. And the green herb, if you pick it up and use it, will give you 3 hearts back. So it's not immediately obvious potentially to somebody who hasn't played this game before. Most of these rooms are not being done the way that they're intended to. We're using these infinite jumping mechanics and just interesting routing tricks to shortcut each and every one of them, including some of them that we just go through backwards.
Yeah, the last one I went through backwards. You're supposed to go all the way around, go up an elevator, head back up top, and then there's a shield guy on ice, and it's literally the worst place enemy in the game. If you don't do the trick I'm about to do, it's the most frustrating thing in the entire game. Because you can't jump on ice, you cannot turn around on ice. Once you start accelerating, you have to go in that direction. Luckily, there was a trick found. For some reason, doing a butt slide on ice, it just perfectly spaces them out. And that trick was actually found by somebody who picked up this game as a 12-hour challenge. So that's really cool. In this room, hilariously enough, you can just go in backwards and not do any tricks and get the statue. Because there's just an elevator there.
All right, so we're coming up on the next proper boss, which is Ice Block Man. And he's real rude.
He is rude.
So are you going to be trying the corner trick, or are you just going to let him walk you forward?
My health is kind of low, so I kind of don't want to get behind him, but that should be fine.
Okay, so what you're going to see Cyclone do is set up a Pepalogu jump over this upcoming boss, and it's relatively precise. It's a couple of pixels that he has to work with. If he can get over the boss into the corner, it's going to save a bunch of time, because otherwise he's just going to have to slowly walk backwards while he hits the boss, and the boss pushes him further and further back along the left side of the room.
Again, worst case scenario, I just use the medicine.
You got this.
Didn't even get behind him.
So all the things that could have happened, that was the least bad. Usually you tend to take health if that fails. He not only bounced backwards without taking damage, he also got a hit in. That was an amazing boss fight.
At any point in time, he could have just like punched me out of the air. Like, all right, so in town, the far right house, there's an old lady who has been going on and on and on about how all these yellow Pelagu are evil sent to destroy us all. Turns out she was right.
So there's a cutscene that we're not going to watch, where one of the yellow Pepalogus slowly advances on her and turns black and spiky and evil and mean. And then all of the yellow Pepalugos in town also turn black and evil and spiky and mean. And instead of that, we're going to just jump over the tower. And the reason that this works is that right now there's guards blocking the tower. And they're saying the queen is currently not in the mood for visitors. So you can't talk to the queen, which means that if we go into the castle through this back door by infinite jumping over the mage tower, the game devs didn't anticipate this, and we just go directly, essentially, past that cutscene through to the part where we are realizing that things are kind of wrong.
All right, so I just need her not to fly immediately. Oh, and Pepelago is about to get hit with a missile.
So it turns out that the queen was having you go and fight all of these spirits and rescue them to her own evil ends. That's unfortunate. So this is usually like a 10-second loss, but she can come down whenever she wants, or theoretically never. That's a really good fight.
Yep. Ended up exactly where we wanted to be, too.
All right, so good news, we're going to cheat. Right now, we're supposed to go to another dungeon so that we can try and figure out, what's going on and try and take on the queen. But instead, we're going to use that magic armor that we previously purchased, and we're just going to revive Pepelago, and it's fine. So let's go ahead and face the queen.
Yep, so we're doing the same exact thing I just did to get back into the castle.
So before we skipped an obnoxiously long cutscene, now we are instead going to skip an entire dungeon. And just remember, right now our Pepelago is dead. So none of this is happening.
I'm a little bit of trouble with that right now. Luckily, this last infinite jump of the game, so.
All right, so now we're going to go face off with the queen one more time.
Whoops, I lost.
Yep, so now she's going to make fun of us, and she's going to say, you should whistle for Pepelago. He won't come. So we do.
There he is. You see anything wrong with this?
No, this looks normal.
Okay. So for whatever reason, the game cannot handle two instances of Pepelago being on the screen at the same time, no matter what form he's in. So yeah, a wall of text shows up instead and starts singing at the queen. And when a wall of text starts singing at you, it just purifies you down to your soul. With those music notes that are obviously musical notes.
Yes.
Full heal off of that and make another Pepelago. Because that cutscene does actually remove any Pepelago you have, even though you're not supposed to have one.
All right, now it's time for the final dungeon. This feels really good to do as a casual player because now you're completely powered up. You've got the best sword in the game.
Actually, you don't.
Well, you might.
The best sword in the game does not become available until you kill the first mini-boss in this dungeon.
That's right. But you do have a good sword.
I do have a good sword.
A much better sword than you had when you fought any of these enemies.
Yes.
And so you're just one-shotting everything running through here.
Yep. It's basically just a gauntlet of every enemy you faced up till now. And one extra enemy that doesn't appear anywhere else for some reason.
If you can't be with the sword you love the one you're with.
Could I squeeze in a quick donation?
Sure.
Awesome. We have a $500 donation from Monster Boy. Happy New Year 2019 from the Monster Boy team.
Thank you. My controller just did that thing, by the way.
Well, there are worse places for it to have done it.
Yeah. My controller's been having issues recently where it just disconnects for like 3 seconds. I don't know why I'm calling him. Alright, let me just continue on. All men with swords make their return. Here are enemies in the dungeon I skipped. And here are enemies that don't exist anywhere else. That room gets real fun if you don't do it right. I don't like lightning slimes. Pull him down here and jump at him. And not bounce off of him? Okay. It's much like Zelda 2, you just want to jump at shielded enemies in this game. So there's the Harpy refight from the volcano. And after you kill the Harpy, then you can go back to town and get the legendary sword. All those chests I'm passing up as well are gold bars, which give you, at this point in the game, 5,000 gold each. So it helps to let you buy that sword. So I think it costs like 22,000 or something. Significantly easier with no ice physics. This one can still be a pain, though. Okay.
All right, so coming up is the final boss of the game after just a couple more rooms, who is Fear Incarnate.
That's canonically his name. This is the main reason I made another Paveligo, is there's 2 screens going downwards. Red Ogre doing the 1.0.1 special. All right, so final boss. I'm just gonna let Tina talk.
So this fight is pretty much what you see. We've got both of these ice stalks can pull back and use elemental beams, which we're seeing happen. You can be petrified, which is undone when you take 1 bit of damage. So Pippilogu shows up and blocks that eye from petrifying you, and
Time.
There we go. Is that? I think that might be a PB. Is that for you? No?
I'm a PB. I actually just set a couple hours before this, 58:20.
Still a really solid run.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. So yeah, I think I just noticed when you're petrified and you grab a Pelagoo, you're non-petrified.
You also got hit right at the same time.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. That's worth playing with.
Yeah. So story, you leave Pelagoo behind. He was petrified to save you from getting petrified. So the genie takes you out of there because the place is collapsing. You're knighted by the queen. The city celebrates you. I'll just let this play out while we talk. So yeah, I want to thank friends who showed up here, Tina and Auth on the couch. Anybody who's helped out with the run. The player I mentioned before, Crank Dud, he actually apparently set a world record for Mega Man 02 earlier in the marathon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. So yeah, that was Monster Boy 4, part of the Wonder Boy series. The Monster Boy team donated, so that's really cool. In Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, just came out about a month ago, Pelagoo makes a big appearance in that game.
Yep.
As I mentioned, you have to take him through an entire lava area. So that game was a lot of fun to get my hands on. Having Pelagoo there is very good to see. And this cutscene right here, the save stage is like, hey, you need to let it go. Asha's there praying, hoping that Pelagoo will come back. And he's like, no, it's not going to happen. Any second now. As it turns out, Pelagoo comes back.
Yeah, and it happens.
I really felt the twist ending coming.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to show off the happy ending. I think we're done here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely amazing run. Thank you so much, Cyclone. That was one of the most adorable things I have ever seen. And we've got a $25 donation from Anonymous. Have been watching GDQ for years. Love this run. Can I get a wiggle to prevent cancer? Lunar149 donates $10. Love you all. Well, thank you very much. We love you too. Petit Rosenol donates $5. Super cool game. It feels really chill and I love it. Keep up the good work. And chat, please keep on wiggling. It is amazing. We've got a $10 donation from Caldrum. Thank you very much. Tim and Brooke donate $25. I've been checking in for the past 3 years. Appreciate everything you guys do and keep up the good work. Also, congrats to the players. It blows my mind every run. We've got a $100 anonymous donation. No comment, but I would like to say thank you very much. FNC Platon donates $5 with the comment, dream. Grumpkins donates $50. Greetings from Lithuania. My sister beat cancer a few years ago, so it's awesome to add something to this big fight against this cruel disease. Good luck to all the runners, and I can't wait to see all these amazing runs this week. Misty24 donates $100. No comment, but thank you very much for your donation. This is just a reminder to please check out all the absolutely fantastic incentives that are going on right now. The bonus run for Castlevania 3 currently needs about $10,000 to be met. We also have the Jack 3 Glitch Exhibition, which is currently at $5,455 out of $7,500. Please get your donations in to meet these incentives. Just a Bird donates $10. Chirp, chirp. Thank you very much for your donation. Cromero donates $5. First AGDQ donating greetings from Germany and love to all the runners. Trigger 13 donates $50. My mother was a survivor of breast cancer. Had to support an amazing cause. Love the speed runs. Le French Restream donates $10. Here in France, we love Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot. So we want to rename both heroes of Battle of Olympus, Poirot and Agatha. Cheers from France. Keep up the show, guys. All right, we are going to play a quick Twitch ad.
Not Twitch ad. It's going to be a video ad.
The scenario showed me different ways of thinking and how people feel.
It helped them to get comfortable with speaking about breast cancer with other people.
By seeing it in action, it may give you some talking points or some takeaways that you can use if ever you're faced with this type of scenario.
The past 2 months, I've been feeling this weird lump on my breast, and I don't want to go to the doctor. What do you think I should do?
You need to go get that checked out.
They all could relate, whether it was personally or whether it was through a story. Something came to light for them, and you saw the light bulb come on.
Just a reminder that AGDQ 2019 is raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. The Prevent Cancer Foundation is committed to stop cancer before it starts through its 4 pillars: research, education, outreach, and advocacy. All donations made during AGDQ 2019 go to this wonderful cause. Thank you so much for every one of your donations. So let's do a quick check-in on what the average donation is right now. Currently, the average donation amount is $41.03. So for all those donations of $250 to $1,000, we are getting so many $5 donations. Keep in mind that absolutely everything helps. Thank you so much for your donations. All right, we are going to toss things over to an interview for Echo the Tides of Time with Vector Man.
Hello, welcome everyone back to AGDQ 2019, the early morning edition. I'm Spike Vachita, and it's a pleasure to be joined today by one of, without a doubt, the best Sega Genesis as a console speedrunners in the world. We got Cronoon here. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Got about 4 hours of sleep.
All right, 6 here.
Yeah. But always excited to wake up for these awesome Sega Genesis blocks. Sega Genesis has some of, I think, the best 90s speed games out there. I know you're right after this going to have to be jumping on the couch for Mega Turrican, and after that, you've got not just one, but two other Sega Genesis classics, Vector Man and Echo the Dolphin you got coming up after this. Yeah, we got some fans here. We got people waking up early. Maybe they're still up. Maybe they're waiting for breakfast. That guy was waiting for breakfast.
I'm thrilled. Yeah, it's awesome, and I just love seeing the support for the Sega community. It's not as supported as like Nintendo. People tend to forget about it a little bit, but there is plenty of love in the community, and we just love to share these games.
Yeah, we definitely see the passion from you guys, people like you, Mike89. I know we got Fat Body here running Sonic 1 later. I want to ask you, so what is it for you that particularly draws you to the Sega Genesis as a console? Because I know you, again, I mean, you're top shelf runner, Vector Man, Echo. I know like Sonic 3 and Knuckles I've watched a lot of your streams for. What is it that draws you to that console?
Well, I think probably the most primary thing is it was a huge part of my childhood. The nostalgia is just there, lots of love for that. Just the innocent part of my childhood, but also just coming back to it, just like the attitude and the aesthetic of the games, like the music and everything is just in your face, just really strong. And I don't know, I just feel at home just playing them. I can just pick up any Genesis game and have a good time. It just speaks to me.
Out of curiosity, there's a little side question. You haven't played The Messenger, have you?
I have not, no.
Okay. It was an awesome indie game. We're actually be showing it here at this marathon. I was playing that earlier this year, and they have little bits where you know, spoilers, you end up jumping between 8 and 16-bit chip tunes, and the 16-bit, it feels very Genesis, and I just went, oh, I just want to go play like every Genesis game in the world right now. Love it.
Nice.
So I want to ask you a little bit about, for any runner where you're not just you speed run, but you at a very high level, you run these different games. Is there anything in particular you look for in a speed game specifically? Is it, you know, it has a lot of movement tech, or there's like no downtime, or just a particular length? What is it that you look for?
I think first of all, it needs to have good music.
Yes.
I think that goes for anyone, but especially just you're listening to the music most of the time, so having a killer soundtrack is just something that's good. But also just movement tech, and having like a depth to it, like something like games that are just kind of like a linear movement where you just like jump or you just avoid stuff. It's okay, but stuff where you can like boost or you have like some kind of strange tech where you can, I don't know, like zips and glitches like that.
Sure.
It's fantastic. And finally, just like a kind of a depth to learning the game, or it's like maybe has a really high skill ceiling. So you have like these top runners that seem like impossible to be, like these guardians of the world records, and just working your way up there is just it's thrilling. Like just every step of the way, it feels fine. It just feels really good.
Absolutely. So I want to talk to you a little bit about just the two runs you specifically got coming up. Again, we got Echo and Vector Man. Is there one in particular that you are a little more nervous about today? What's coming up? Which one scares you more of these two you have to execute? And right next to each other, basically. I think you got one run in between, then you got to go.
Yeah, I mean, The answer I think most people would be expecting is Vector Man, and when I was learning it, I would say Vector Man, but not so much anymore. I've grinded it down, and I expect almost everything of that game. I hope, but it, yeah,
Famous last words. But.
You're right. But it's gonna be Echo that I'm worried about, mainly because I just really want to show off how buttery smooth that game is. But I'm probably just gonna bump into like every single rock there is. But there's also there's tricks that like if you mess up, you can lose like a minute or more of time. Yeah. So a little worried about that, but I'm feeling pretty good. So I think it'll be good.
Absolutely. We are definitely looking forward to both of those runs by you. So I want to ask you about, so I've been going on and on about like how you're such a great Sega Genesis speedrunner. I believe you actually run other games as well, though. You haven't stayed to just that console. Yeah, what other games have you kind of messed around with in general?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Sega Genesis is just like, I just keep on finding games and like, oh, I gotta get into it. But no, I'm also a Sonic fan, so like the Sonic Adventure series speaks to me a little bit. But also, there's Super Nintendo and N64 have a bunch of really good games on there, and like all the games that people really like Super Mario 64 and Mega Man X and Super Metroid, like I've been putting them aside because they're really hard, but I do kind of want to get into those too. I've touched them a little bit, but I want to really get into, take a good bite out of that stuff.
So that leads me to my next question. I love asking speedrunners this because I love hearing the varied answers. If you could one morning wake up and just be, you know, maybe not world record holder, but really, really, really good, instantly have all the skill set for one speed game, whether it's one you already have, whether it's one you've never even touched, what would you want to wake up and just magically be amazing at?
I think it would be Super Metroid. I mean, it's just an instant classic.
I get that so much, dude.
I mean, it's there. Everyone loves it. It's such a fantastic and deeply difficult game, but like it's awesome. I'd like to get into that.
Absolutely.
I'll work for it.
I'm about to say, maybe one day, yeah. the Zost and the Oats and the Behemoths of the world, watch out, Cronin's coming your way. So I want to also just put you, I'm going to let you be on the selection committee. And maybe we can keep to Genesis games, maybe something else, maybe something you've put a lot of work into. If you were in control of the next Games Done Quick, the event that you go to, what would you like to have the opportunity, what would you like to be able to showcase to the world your skill at, you know, and just showcasing that game?
Man, I would really like to show off Alien Soldier. So that's the Genesis game. Hasn't been here in a while. Zost ran it last a while ago.
AGDQ like 14. We haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, and so just type it up. They're made by Treasure, which is kind of a lesser-known company, but they make a bunch of excellent games. Not as much anymore. Come on, Treasure. But just any of their games, but especially Alien Soldier, it's really hard to get like a really good time. You have to basically do damage lists to have a good time, and it's just an awesome game. Great music, great art, great gameplay, and pretty short and just really interesting. There's very interesting design choices with the bosses. Everyone should check it out. But yeah, if it could be anything, it'd be Alien Soldier.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I was hoping for that. We again, like you said, haven't seen it since AGDQ 2014. That was an amazing run by Zost. Do you ever think Zost might someday come back to it?
You know, when I see him like put on music, I still see like the Genesis soundtrack, the Alien Soldier sound test come up. So I'm hopeful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have got an amazing Genesis block coming out. Again, we're going to be sending you up there to do commentary for Mega Turk. I know we'll probably see you on the couch for a couple other Genesis runs we also got coming up later in the marathon. But again, Cronin, one of the best Sega Genesis speedrunners in the world, is going to be bringing you both Echo and Vector Man here in just a little bit, almost back-to-back for him. So best of luck to you, man. And with that, guys, we're actually going to kick it over to my good friend, Sent, for a little prize segment. Enjoy.
Hey, Spike, thank you so much for that great interview with Cronon there. Excellent stuff. So yeah, guys, my name is Sent, and I'm the prize coordinator here at Games Done Quick, and I want to show you guys some of the awesome prizes you can win by getting in your donations this morning. So first off, I don't know if you guys caught the run by Mr. Cavill earlier tonight of Comet Striker. Amazing game, looks super fun. We actually have 100 Steam keys for the game from the guys over at Ice Lizard Games, the devs behind Comet Striker. Super generous for them to give those to us. So those are going to be available between now and Pocky and Rocky a little bit later this morning. It's a $5 minimum donation to get in on those keys. So hey, I mean, get your donations in and you might be able to go home with a great new Steam game to play around, maybe even try speedrunning. So from our friends over at Zoink and Fangamer, we have this beautiful Fee art print. And you know, I missed the run. Is it Fee? Is it Iron? Am I holding it backwards? The answer to all of these is yes. The answer to all of these is yes. Anyway, I mean, this thing is it's just super cute. Love it. $10 minimum donation from now until the end of Pocky and Rocky. Make sure to get on that. From our good friend Liz Starr, who's actually out there somewhere in attendance, might be in the audience right now. Give me a yell if you are. She's somewhere. Don't worry about it. She sent us a beautiful Monster Hunter Pepe Logo Perler, as you saw from that previous run, Monster World 4. I mean, super cute game, super cute little helpful critter. Adorable Perler. $5 minimum donation from now until the end of Pocky and Rocky. Speaking of great things, our wonderful in-house artist, LOK, who's the artist behind all of the banners you see on our website. She's the artist behind all of the amazing whiteboard art you're seeing over at the interview set these days. We have the original art for the banners that she's done for AGDQ 2019. Right now, we have the Indie Force banner, and that's going to be going all of today. So from now until Resident Evil, at I believe around 11:30 this evening. It's a $50 minimum donation, but guys, this is a one-of-a-kind piece of GDQ history. We're only ever going to print one of these. I mean, after that, it's gone. So, hey, get entered, $50. That's going to give you a chance to win that amazing banner. And guys, keep in mind, that $50 donation is going to put you $50 closer to being entered into our grand prize this event. We have, of course, an amazing Master Sword and Hylian shield sent to us by our good friends over at Heroic Replicas. And in fact, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. This is why I like having the freestanding mic. I can just walk over and pick this baby up. Oh. Seriously, this thing is so cool. I love it. It is full metal. It's quite heavy. It's about 15 pounds. The detail on it is amazing. Love the gold plating on the Triforce. Love the enameled Hylian crest there on the front. It's super cool. And again, it's bundled with an amazing Master Sword replica as well. That's another, solid 10, 15 pounds on it. It's absolutely amazing. $250 throughout the marathon to get entered for it. But remember, that's cumulative. So hey, $50 today, $50 tomorrow, and you're almost there. So let me just go put this baby down real quick. All right, and guys, that's just about gonna do it for me. Before I go, I wanna remind you all to, if you're ever curious about upcoming prizes, incentive speedruns, and all that good stuff, you're gonna head over to gamesdonequick.com, you're gonna check out the tracker. It's gonna have all the information that you're looking for and that you might need. And as a quick reminder, today's prize segment was brought to you by Obnoxious High School Memories. Obnoxious high school memories like the pacer test. Oh. The pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly, but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. All right, I'm tired already. I'm gonna go take a nap. But you guys should stick around as we get ready for Mega Turrican with Dagron. Guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sent. All right, we got a number of donations here. We've got a bit of a controversial one here. From Anonymous, $7. Mega Turrican, so much better than Super Metroid. I don't even know why people play that game. All right. Looks like we are all ready to go, so we are gonna toss things over for Mega Turrican.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yes.
The time is now.
All right, so how's everyone doing? It's, I guess, pretty early in the morning or late in the afternoon, depending on where you are. Yeah, so this is Mega Turrican, and I believe it also goes under the name Turrican 3. It's the direct sequel to the much praised Turrican.